the rabbi's last breath. It was just past midnight when the phone rang in a quiet home nestled in the heart of Jerusalem. The voice on the other end trembled. "Rabbi Eliezar, he's gone." But the story doesn't end there. In fact, it was just beginning. Rabbi Eliezar ben Chaim was no ordinary man. A respected Kabbalist, a scholar of Torah and Zohar, and a humble shepherd of souls, he had spent over 70 years immersed in the sacred texts of Jewish mysticism. But nothing in his vast studies could have prepared him for what he experienced in the moments after his final breath. As his soul slipped the confines of his earthly body, Rabbi Eliezar felt no fear, only a strange warmth, like stepping into a memory older than time. The room around him faded. His family's tears, the hospital beeps, all melted into silence. Then, light. Radiant, endless light. What he saw, what he heard, and what he was shown in that place between life and eternity would shake even the firmest foundations of belief. He returned. Not in the physical sense, for his heart had stopped for over 20 minutes. But something in him came back, awakened, urgent, and bearing messages from beyond. Today, we revealed the secrets the rabbi shared, 8 revelations from his journey beyond the veil. If you've ever wondered what awaits on the other side, beyond the grave, beyond this world, stay with us. What you're about to hear could transform how you live, and how you die. The tunnel and the echo of deeds. As the soul ascends, time no longer exists. This was the first thing Rabbi Eliezar remembered. There was no clock, no heartbeat, no aging. Only movement, like being carried through a tunnel made not of stone or space, but of consciousness. He described it as traveling within a river of memory. But this river didn't show him his memories, not at first. It revealed echoes of the people he had impacted throughout his life. He saw a young boy, now grown, praying with fervor. A boy he had once taught to say the Shema before bedtime. He saw a widow holding her head high at her husband's funeral, strengthened by the words he had offered her years before. In that realm, every deed reverberated like sound through a canyon, returning in waves. The good, the painful, the forgotten. Every word, every glance, every silent prayer, nothing was lost. He called it the echo of deeds. A voice, either male nor female, seemed to narrate alongside him. "These are not your memories," it said. "These are your ripples." Here, the rabbi realized something deeply profound. Life isn't just lived, it radiates. Each action echoes into the world like light through a prism. And in the afterlife, these echoes form the foundation of judgment, not in punishment, but in revelation. "You do not stand before GD," the voice whispered. "You stand before yourself, as GD saw you." This was only the beginning. The library of souls. The next realm he entered, the rabbi called Sifra HaNeshamot, the library of souls. Imagine a space beyond comprehension. Towers of books, scrolls, glowing tablets, and orbs filled the sky like stars. But these were no ordinary volumes. Each one was alive, pulsing with light and knowledge. Each contained a soul's entire journey, written in divine ink, invisible to the eye but readable by the soul. There, he was greeted by what he described as luminous beings, not angels in the traditional sense, but guardians of memory. They didn't speak, yet he understood their intent. One of them gestured toward a scroll. It unrolled before him, his life story. But not just facts and events, feelings, intentions, unspoken thoughts. He wept, not from shame, but awe. For he saw how even his smallest acts of kindness, giving a coin, offering a silent prayer, shimmered in that scroll like gold thread. He also saw his missed opportunities. Moments when he could have lifted someone but didn't. These weren't shown to punish, but to illuminate. "See what you are," the being whispered. "And see what you were meant to be." But even more startling, he glimpsed other scrolls. Lives he had once touched, and lives he might yet impact, even in death. This library was not final. It was a living archive. And it was clear, our story doesn't end when our breath does. The corridor of regret and redemption. But not all was light. As Rabbi Eliezar moved deeper into the realms beyond, he came to a place darker and colder, a corridor without walls, but filled with whispers. This was the corridor of regret. Here, he said, souls relived their unrepentant moments. Not as torment, but as healing. They saw the consequences of every choice that had gone unresolved. A lie left to fester. A wound never apologized for. A soul never forgiven. But this was also the place of second chances. In that corridor, the rabbi encountered souls praying, not for themselves, but for the living. He recognized an old mentor, long past, who told him, "Even here, we are not beyond redemption." Our prayers echo back. We can still guide. We can still mend. Here, Rabbi Eliezar understood the ancient wisdom: teshuvah, repentance, is not just for the living. It's a law of the soul. And in this realm, repentance is raw and real. Do not wait. He later told his students. Regret is not the punishment, it's the bridge. This section of his journey left a mark. He returned with a plea: fix what you can now. Say the words. Mend the breaches. Don't wait for the veil. The garden of questions. Then came the garden, a place he could hardly describe. It wasn't filled with trees or flowers, but questions. Living, breathing questions. Each one shimmered with light and hovered like butterflies. Why was I born? Why did I suffer? Why was this prayer unanswered? Where was GD when I needed him? He was told, this is the garden of questions. Here, every soul faces what they've carried in silence. But answers don't come as words. Instead, the rabbi was shown visions. Like paintings in motion. A child who suffered became a spark that ignited compassion in others. A denied prayer became the catalyst for a hidden blessing decades later. A tragedy revealed a greater orchestration, only visible from beyond time. He fell to his knees and cried, not from despair, but from overwhelming clarity. The lesson was crystal clear. Every question in this world has an answer in the next. And often, those answers are beyond human comprehension. Faith, the voice said, is not the absence of answers. It's the trust that answers exist. The flame of unity. In the next vision, Rabbi Eliezar entered a realm he called Hash HaKat, the one flame. He described it as standing inside a fire that did not burn. Souls surrounded him, not as people, but as lights. And in that fire, he felt everything, every joy, every sorrow, every triumph, and failure of humanity, as if it were his own. There is no other, a voice declared. All souls are one flame, many sparks. This was the ultimate truth of unity. The rabbi saw enemies embracing, old rivals merging in forgiveness. He realized the barriers we create, race, religion, nationality, are illusions of earth. In the soul's world, only essence matters. Love, the voice said, is not emotion, it is recognition. He brought this back as a holy mandate. He taught until his final days. We are not separate. To hurt another is to wound yourself. To heal another is to elevate your soul. This section was the most mystical, and the most transformative. The Council of the Unseen. Before returning, Rabbi Eliezar met the Council of the Unseen. This wasn't a council in any earthly form. Rather, it was a meeting of souls, elders, sages, angels, and others whose identities he could barely grasp. Among them were biblical figures, tzaddikim, and mystics of ages past. He wasn't judged, he was welcomed. They asked him only one question. What will you do with what you've seen? He hesitated. Could he even speak of these things? Would people believe? They smiled, not with mouths, but with presence. Truth is not given to be believed. It is given to be lived. And so, they blessed him, not with words, but with light. They sealed within him a fire that would not fade, and then, he fell. Back into the body. Back into breath. back into the noise and pain and flesh. The return and the final message. When he opened his eyes, the doctors were stunned. "It's impossible," they whispered. "No heartbeat for 20 minutes." But Rabbi Eliezar was alive, and changed. He spent his remaining days teaching, not theology, but testimony. He never tried to convince anyone. "I don't ask you to believe," he would say. "I only ask you to listen." His final message, spoken days before he passed again. Live with kindness, because your deeds echo forever. Live with truth, because every soul is a scroll. Live with urgency, because time is not promised. And above all, live with faith. Not in what you see, but in what is unseen. And then he smiled, closed his eyes, and slipped once again beyond the veil. This time, he did not return. But his journey did. And now, so has yours.